Well, it wasn't a true Tungsten-Arm O'Doyle situation, but it sure was frustratingly close and enough to make Dodger fans pretty upset. Dodgers lost the game they should have won in when Shohei Ohtani did plenty to win. We're going to dig into it and why Max Muncy maybe never get another day off again here on All Dodgers. Hey, what's up? This is All Dodgers. I am Jeff Snider. We are part of the Bleav Network of podcasts brought to you by FanDuel. As I said, I'm Jeff. That guy next to me, I'm going to point the right direction. That's Kevin Skinner. That's Skinner7 Kevin. And look at us pointing the right direction. You can tell Clint is on vacation because everyone on the show is pointing the correct direction when they're pointing at their fellow co-host. But this is All Dodgers. And we thought that we were going to get to talk about a Dodgers win, Kevin, because the Dodgers should have won this game. You know, it's been several hours now, and we've had time to think about it. And I just keep coming back to the fact that this was a game the Dodgers should have won.
Yeah, I think Joe mentioned it in the fifth inning. He was mentioning as Robleski was coming into pitch that he was taking over a 3-2-1 run lead. Wow, that is hard to say. But it was a situation that it felt like the Dodgers should have had a larger lead than it was because, for all intents and purposes, Shohei shoved. He did everything he could as a pitcher to keep the score down. The Dodgers offense stumbled a little bit, but then, of course, Shohei does what Shohei does and does everything he can offensively to keep the Dodgers in the lead. And it just wasn't good enough. And it's unfortunate. It sucks. I think you and I might have some different takes or different perspectives of this game. But I do think at the end of the day, this is one that you don't love slipping away from the team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Alex in the chat says, how many times have we said that the Dodgers should have won this game? You know, there's some games that they should have won because they're the better team. This game, just based like the way they played, like everything about this game should have been a Dodgers win, and it just wasn't. You know, the fact that two of the Cardinals' 5 runs scored on defensive misplays. You know, that I assume everybody understands the Tungsten-Arm O'Doyle reference. But I'm going to read you this tweet. And this comes from, it's been four and a half years ago now, back when Shohei Ohtani was on the Angels. And a guy on Twitter said, every time I see an Angels highlight, it's like Mike Trout hit 3 home runs and raised his average to 528, while Shohei Ohtani did something that hasn't been done since Tungsten-Arm O'Doyle of the 1921 Akron Groomsmen as the Tigers defeated the Angels 8-3. And the point of the tweet was that the Angels had 2 generational players, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and were a terrible team. And so what we had today was Shohei Ohtani pitching absolutely beautifully, hitting a huge home run to give the Dodgers a lead, and the Dodgers losing the game. I'll tell you why it's not a true Tungsten-Arm O'Doyle situation. A, it's been a year and a half that he's been on the Dodgers, and this is the first time we've even had one that was close to it. And so, I mean, the fact that this tweet is every time I see an Angels highlight, the point was that the Angels were a terrible team. The Dodgers, while we as Dodger fans feel like this team is the worst team that's ever played baseball, they are worse than every team in the National League West except the other 4 teams in the National League West. They are still in first place. It's not a good team right now, but this is not 2021 Angels level team. So that's one thing. Also, Shohei didn't do anything historic today. Shohei's hit home runs before. He's pitched well before. We're not talking history. This was
recorded his 1,000th career hit.
That's true. He became probably only the 900th player in baseball history, probably even more than that. But so yeah, he did reach a personal milestone. But this wasn't a historic performance by him. In fact, if we had gotten a historic performance from Ohtani, the Dodgers probably would have won this game, because part of the issue is that Ohtani is still building up on the mound, so he only went 4 innings. And if Shohei had pitched 7 innings, the Dodgers probably win this game. Instead we had Alex Vesia clearly didn't have his best stuff, and yet the Dodgers didn't have other pitchers available. And he was in the game as early as he was because Justin Robleski only gave up 1 run, but didn't have his best stuff, was constantly pitching around traffic, and so he couldn't get as deep in relief as they had hoped. Their hope was that Robleski could take down 4 or even all 5 of the innings after Ohtani's 4. Instead, they had to go to Vesia, and then they went to Brock Stewart again. It wasn't the ideal situation, whereas if we had historic Shohei Ohtani, fully built up ace-level pitcher, Dodgers probably do win this game,
Yeah, absolutely. Of course they do. He was as close to unhittable as I think I've seen from a Dodgers pitcher in a really long time. Like, Yamamoto has flashed it at points where he will go out over the course of 6-7 innings, strike out 9-10 guys, and look really good. But it's not today. Ohtani just looked like the Cardinals were just lost at the plate when Ohtani was on the mound. And that's something that I feel like it's been a while since we've seen that from a Dodgers starter, where he's not walking a lot of guys. His command is impeccable. His breaking stuff was filthy. He struck out a couple guys on splitters that it was a strike until the definition of it wasn't. So yeah, if Ohtani could go 7 innings, yeah, they do probably win this game. Unfortunately, he couldn't. That's fine. They're building him up as best as they can. But at the same time, you wish you could have walked away from this game with the win, specifically because it's not very often that a single player can control as many facets of the game that Ohtani did today and produce the way he did. And the fact that literally, it's not just 8 other guys offensively. Like, there's 8 other guys offensively, but then you have Vesia, technically Robleski, and then Brock Stewart at the end. That's 11 other guys couldn't, produce to help this one other guy win the game today. I think that's what's most frustrating over anything is Ohtani was great, but 11 other guys couldn't help him out a little bit.
Yeah, we got a comment in the chat from Michael Negretti. Sorry, I got to fix this again. He says, probably doesn't get wins, Jeffrey. I do appreciate the condescending use of my full name, Mike.
Is it Jeffrey?
Literally, the point of this episode is that the Dodgers didn't win this game. So, yeah, we're pretty aware that probably doesn't get wins. But thanks for watching. In the end, it was Ohtani did everything he could have under his current situation. Now, I'm sure he would have loved to go 7 innings, but he's not there, and maybe won't be. It's kind of interesting what they're doing. He is now only 1 inning away from qualifying as a 2-way player. It was frustrating. I said on Twitter, I don't let myself get upset about regular season losses. If I did, this would have been, I think, the one. I don't know what it is specifically, but more than any other game this year, this one to me felt like this is a game they should have won. And maybe it was because Ohtani did so great on both sides of the ball. I don't know, but this is a game they should have won.
Yeah, I don't disagree. However, I think the reason they lost, i.e. the bullpen kind of collapsing at the end there, is just a situation where I just don't hold it against Alex. Alex Vesia is not going to be perfect. Brock Stewart, as good as he's been all year, even though he hasn't been like lights out with the Dodgers thus far, he's not going to be perfect this year either. So I get it if they give up a few runs. I think my frustration lands on the offense not coming up big, and the defense, and we're going to get into the Max Muncy of it all, but you have Alex Freeland, chucking a ball into center field when he should have just swallowed it.
That's Hall of Famer Alex Freeland, Kevin.
I know, to me it's Hall of Famer Alex Freeland. And you have Miguel Rojas who calls for the pop out, and then it just drops right in front of him, and it leads to a big run. You have mistakes like this where we're not used to the Dodgers making boneheaded plays like this. That's I'm sure this organization is tired of hearing it, but that's Yankees level, baseball. That's what it is. That's why they're on a 1-5 skid right now, is they haven't performed well defensively, and that's not something the Dodgers do. And that's where my frustration lands, not on Vesia or Brock Stewart or really the offense, because I kind of liked where the offense was at. I like Mookie Betts' swing. I like Alex Friedland's swing. I liked where a lot of the guys were at. They just didn't put the big inning together, or they didn't string the hits together, because they had hits in the game. They just didn't come one after the other.
Yeah, it felt like they had a few missed opportunities early, and that was part of the frustration. And like when Joe Davis said at one point, this game is closer than it feels like it should be. And then it was even closer, and then it was close in the other direction. And that was the end of it. Unfortunately, Rojas is, you lose a ball in the sun. It happens. It sucks, part of baseball. The Dodgers have benefited from that in some day games at Dodger Stadium in the past. And Freeland's bad throw was a dumb rookie mistake, compounded by the fact that Freeland probably shouldn't have had the ball in his hand anyway, because Pages probably should have just thrown to second, or at least hit the cutoff man, hit Mookie. So
yeah, Mookie did jump for it and missed.
Yeah,
or either Pages missed the cutoff throw, or Mookie couldn't track it down. I don't know.
I think Pages overthrew his cutoff man trying to throw out the guy at third, and probably should have just hit his cutoff man. And those things happen. And if the offense did a little bit better at stringing together rallies, the Dodgers, they should have won this game 7-5 instead of losing 5-3. Just score more runs.
Yeah.
But like we said, Shohei Ohtani did his part, and so this is probably as good a time as any to mention our sponsor, FanDuel, because FanDuel still likes Shohei Ohtani, specifically his MVP chances. It's been kind of a topic of conversation lately because Kyle Schwarber has passed Ohtani in home runs, and
he has 5 less steals. Importantly, 5 less steals.
5 fewer.
It is 5 fewer.
I've got an English degree.
That fewer, less. What's the other one? Not a long.
Apart.
Apart and apart.
Yeah. Those are easy. You should do better at them. But anyway, FanDuel right now at this moment, Shohei Ohtani is minus 1450 to win the National League MVP. Kyle Schwarber is the second closest at plus 850. And so Ohtani is clearly the favorite right now. Obviously, if he continues to hit well and pitch the way he has, he's got a 2.37 ERA. He's probably only going to finish the season with, 40 innings pitched, maybe. But maybe more than that, maybe 50. But you know what? 50 innings pitched, 50 elite innings, plus being really close to the best hitter in the league, if not the best hitter in the league, it's probably going to win you an MVP. So, but there's some industry. Pete Crow Armstrong is down to plus 3,000. He was the second best odds just a week ago. Schwarber has kind of turned it on lately. Manny Machado, Juan Soto, and Kyle Tucker round out the rest of the top 6. So Ohtani still the favorite to win the MVP over on FanDuel. So check that out if you're into that.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what he's been able to do this year. We weren't sure what version of Ohtani we were going to get, obviously, because there's nobody like him, and to be able to come back from an injury and still be an elite player on any. The thing about Max, we were talking about this earlier in the text chain. People wanted to fire Max Muncy into the sun after his arm nearly got ripped off against the Brewers. It felt like people wanted to fire him into the sun because he couldn't produce as a bat. Well, Ohtani has done that and more. He came back from a worse injury by all accounts, and has, for the last 2 seasons, been at the worst, or at the best, the second best hitter in baseball. Aaron Judge notwithstanding. And now, if you talk about having 40 innings among relief, even if you look at relief pitchers right now, I mean, he's up there with Jojo Romero, who we just saw today, Lou Trevino for Toronto. He's been up there with appearances for pitchers already. which is impressive. And if you get like elite level pitching at any capacity and still get to be a top 5 hitter, yeah, you just rename the award for him already, because he should just win it until he can't. Like,
Yeah,
it's always going to be his to lose.
if Ohtani doesn't win, it's going to be because of Ohtani fatigue, probably. At some point that'll be.
How can you have Ohtani fatigue? We've been waiting 15 years for this again.
I'm not tired of it. I know
we're tired of it already.
We have a super chat from Francisco Diaz, who sounds like unfortunately was at this game today. Let me make that a little bit bigger if I can. 9.99 super chat. Let's do a little. He says, Ohtani looked amazing and untouchable. Offense got off to a hot start just to cool off, and then mistakes helped the Dodgers beat themselves. Needless to say, the 4-hour drive back home for me was terrible. 4 hours? You must be all the way over in like San Bernardino, 50 miles away.
I was going
to that's an LA traffic joke.
He's in Guatemala.
I'm going with the LA traffic joke instead. So, no, 4 hours probably coming down from, the Bakersfield area or something. That would be my guess. But not a fun game to as a Dodger fan, and I imagine in the heat and everything would have been even worse to be there. But we do appreciate your super chat, Francisco. So let's change gears a little bit.
I want to end on this really fast. Right now, Devin Williams is at 44 innings. Pete Fairbanks is at 42 innings. Like Gregory Soto's at 40 innings right now. Like Ryan Helsley is at 39 innings. Like these are elite closers, or like perceived elite closers right now. And they're going to pitch, maybe 2 innings a week, 3 innings a week until the end of the season. And Ohtani's going to get 4, potentially 5 in like the next couple of weeks here. I could see them stretching him out to 5 innings. Like he won't eclipse them, but he'll get close. And to do that and still hit 40 bombs, just give him the award already. I don't care how few steals he has.
Yep. The other thing in this game, Max Muncy didn't start. He pinch hit in the 9th inning, took a walk, representing, unfortunately not the tying run at that point because the 2 guys before him both got out. Shockingly, Michael Conforto grounded out to second base in a completely unpredictable turn of events. But Muncy, this was clearly planned because Dave Roberts said during his post-game press conference last night that Alex Freeland. Kyle Freeland is a bad pitcher. Alex Freeland is a rookie position player. That Alex Freeland would be at third base for this game. So it was clearly planned. I assume, coming back from the injury, looking at the schedule, knowing it was going to be a hot day game, give Muncy 2 days off in a row, and then kind of ease him back in. I would assume, and I definitely hope, that this was this first series, we're going to give him 1 day off. And then after that, we're going to play him pretty much all the time. Because Muncy, the last month or 2 before he got hurt, he was showing he could hit lefties. We've seen it since he came back already. When Muncy was at his best back in 2018, 2019, he was sometimes even a reverse splits guy, definitely was not overwhelmed by facing left-handed pitching. And we've seen that lately, that, when he's at his best, he doesn't need to be platooned. I assume that Max Muncy is going to play a lot. And I think the Dodgers definitely missed him in that lineup today, even though they had Will Smith instead of him. Maybe you'd think that's a trade-off. Smith struggled today. Muncy, something about him, his work in the count, hitting the ball hard. We talked about it yesterday. Clint and I did. Muncy's presence in this lineup, definitely has an impact on this team. And I think we're going to see him in the lineup most of the time going forward.
I think so too. And actually, when you brought up this topic, because obviously offensively they missed Muncy, I actually thought about his defense. I don't think if he gets the same ball Freeland does, I don't think Muncy chucks that ball into center field. I think he knows his limits. He knows that the guy bearing down on second base, I believe it was their 9 hitter, Jordan.
It was Jordan Walker.
Yeah, it was Jordan Walker. Thank you. Dude's got wheels. Dude's fast. And I don't think Max Muncy fires that ball to second base on the,
Are you confusing Walker and Scott? Because Scott's the 9-hitter and he's the super fast guy. Walker's the guy who's 9 feet tall, 280 pounds. So he's fast for a huge guy.
He's fast for a huge guy. That's what Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker was the one that's bearing down second. He's still got, I Bleav, as long as I remember, maybe I'm totally wrong and I should just shut my mouth. But still, regardless of who was bearing, no, he's 85th percentile sprint speed. So no, he's very fast. I was right. I don't think Max Muncy fires that ball. I think he swallows it. I think he takes the ball and goes, you know what? It's not worth the higher percentage chance that ball misfires into center field like it did. And he just eats it because he knows the guy that's on base. That's what I thought about Muncy being missed. Is his glove is good, it's not great. He's very liable for a ball eating him up, and that's fine. But what he doesn't generally do is throw a ball way high or way far away from one of the defenders and give people extra bases like that. And that's where I thought Max Muncy was missed today because, and then of course he comes up and works a walk because that's what he does. You guys were talking about it, and I agree. I think if Max Muncy's batting 5th or 6th, you get through the top 4, 1, 2 of them get on base, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I got to deal with Max Muncy. Where if I give up a mistake, this dude's taking me deep. That's stress on a pitcher. You can't leave him a mistake. He's gonna punish you. So definitely his bat was missed, but I thought definitely today was. I don't think that throwing error happens with Max Muncy at third base. And that's a long way from where we thought Max Muncy would be at third base, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, and I would guess Muncy just probably eats it, just doesn't make the throw at all.
Not at all.
Which would have been a good decision and, probably saves a run. And then who knows, obviously Brock Stewart did give up a run the next inning so that, an insurance run for them, but, who knows how different things are.
I don't know. I know Dave said no one else was available. I don't know if that's true.
And Blake Trinan was warming up. Seemed like they were trying to stay away from Trinan. And I think it's pretty clear that availability was an issue because Vesia being left in to face Jordan Walker only happens if you are low on relievers. I think they were they were hurt by the fact that Robleski couldn't get deeper into the game. But all in all, it's just one of those games. And good news is it is just one game. And so if you're trying to make yourself feel better, right at this very moment, the Padres are losing to the D-backs. And so this could be like the 7th day in a row that the Padres and Dodgers did the same thing on the same day. This lead has been 3 games in the division for since the trade deadline at least.
Yeah. And it's been about a week. Yep.
And so hopefully the D-backs can keep that up. But the Dodgers need to start capitalizing on the Padres not playing well. Like we're sitting here talking about how the Dodgers have sucked. And also the fact that the Padres have been the same thing as the Dodgers the last week or so. The Padres have been equally suck. And the Dodgers need to stop sucking so they can take advantage of the Padres sucking because eventually the Padres are going to stop sucking, And so it's all Michael Carrillo says the Freeland error was inconsequential. I feel like the go-ahead run. I feel like the go-ahead run is always going to be consequential. That's just, that's just me as a baseball fan. I don't like going down by a run instead of being tied.
Giving up free runs is never inconsequential in any capacity. Dr. V with the $5 super chat. The Dodger game is reflective of this entire season. Mediocre and uninspired, just hard to watch now. These games suck. Even wins. Lifetime fan, by the way. I disagree. I don't think it was mediocre, and I do think it was inspired. I think Mookie Betts looked really good. Shohei Ohtani looked really good. Both sides of the plate. Relievers are going to be relievers. They're just, sometimes they're not going to have it, which is unfortunate. Dave was working with what he got, according to him. I thought they actually looked more like the Dodgers than normal. They just couldn't string the hits together. They couldn't get that long inning. That's okay.
I do think there's a tendency sometimes to look and try to say, oh, they played poorly, so they must have been, uninspired or not motivated or whatever. and sometimes you just play poorly, and that's what happened today. It's frustrating.
They hit today, right? They tacked on, I believe.
Dodgers had 8 hits. They gave up 12 hits, 8 hits and 2 walks. But a lot of that, I mean, it was early in the game. The offense looked really good early, and then they didn't. So, they didn't capitalize. They hit into 2 double plays. Just kind of.
Alex Call looked really good. I mean, don't talk about uninspired. I mean, that dude made a great catch up against the wall, smoked a double. Like the team looked good.
And maybe that's why this game was so frustrating for me, because there would have been so many fun things to talk about this game if they had won. We could be talking about Alex Call and Shohei Ohtani and, those things. Even Mookie Betts looking solid again.
Mookie Betts
only 1 for 4, but still, Alex in the chat says, Jeff, it's not only 1 game when the Padres are only 3 games behind. Literally, it's only 1 game. I mean, hashtag math. That's my point. And we saw yesterday the Dodgers played a great game, which means they won't play a great game tomorrow because they don't play tomorrow. But Friday, they could play a great game. Like, that's the thing. Like, it is only 1 game. And that's the beautiful thing about baseball is you keep playing, there's always a game no more than a day and a half away after a frustrating loss. And so Dodgers are going to, they're going to play again, and it's only 1 game. So
Jeff, I've realized I think people are really going to hate our version of
this is wild.
Yeah. Whoa. Hold breaking news really
Clint
fast.
Clint is not being very good at being on vacation. He's texting us. Dodgers Daily is reporting that Justin Dean is getting called up, which would have to be
for an injury.
An injury or to replace who's the guy who's bad? Esteury Ruiz.
Yeah.
Because this is interesting. Justin Dean is a guy who is very, very good defensively in center field. Runs very fast. Does not hit very well. That's his.
So I looked up his stats really fast. In 80 games this year at AAA, 306 plate appearances, he has an 810 OPS. Again,
which PCL wise is
wise, you're looking at mid 700s. He has a 376 on base, which is pretty good.
25 stolen bases.
Yeah, so he's got
plus 6 triples. So.
Yeah, like he struck out 68 times. He's walked 37. Those aren't unbelievably bad splits. Like he's still walking more than half than he's striking out. Really interesting. The corresponding move is obviously what we're gonna have to pay attention to here. If, of course, was it Dodgers Daily's reporting it? If Dodgers Daily has their issue about them right
Casey
now.
Porter knows his stuff. Like this is I mean, he knows his OKC Comets, and so I assume that this is legit. Obviously the most likely one is just that they're replacing Ruiz with him, but Dean's not on the 40-man roster, so he would require a roster move.
You just DFA Ruiz,
right? And it could be something bigger. I don't know. We'll see.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep scrolling a little bit.
So anybody who doesn't know, 28-year-old. I don't believe he's made his major league debut yet. No, he has not. 28-year-old would-be rookie. It looks like he's just kind of an on-base and stealing machine, very similar to Esteury Ruiz, like Jeff said. Looks.
This is the best he's ever hit in the minors.
Yeah, it's by far the best he's ever hit. His on base is kind of in line though.
I looked into him a lot during spring training because he got into a lot of spring training games with the Dodgers this year. His defense is fun. He's very, very good. Like the jumps he gets in center field, we're talking like maybe I shouldn't compare to PCA because PCA is so ridiculous, but I'm talking an elite center fielder Justin Dean is. So if he can hit, but I mean, if he could hit, he would have been up a while ago. Dodgers had some needs in center field, so
a while ago. Yeah. He was drafted by the Braves in the 17th round in 2018. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Not only the corresponding move, but how they utilize him. Because as it stands right now, they seem to like the Michael Conforto, Alex Call. Why are we getting excited about this?
Michael hadn't been
Because
grumpy
it's
about anything in
random
a
out of
couple
nowhere.
minutes. So yeah, I mean, this is interesting. We're Dodger fans, and we're interested in the things the Dodgers do. And that's why we're excited about this. Not that Justin Dean is going to come save the season. It's a really interesting, unexpected move, and those things are exciting, you know? So we probably may not find out the corresponding move. You know, Bruce Kuntz on Twitter says hopefully Alex calls today after the hard collision with the wall. I assume he's okay because he played the rest of the game and had 2 hits after that. But you know what? Sometimes things don't hurt till later. So I hope it's not an injury to Alex Call. JRM says that the Padres have tied the game up in Arizona. So way to go, Diamondbacks. Way to pull through on that.
It's interesting. It's fascinating because there's been no indication why anybody would need to be called up. Esteury Ruiz has done a good job in his role. He's been a great pinch runner. He's scored meaningful runs when they've needed him to. He's played good. I mean, he had a couple gaffes like very early on, but he's looked the part since then.
We got a couple super chats that I want to get to real quick. The second one is about Justin Dean. So, but first we'll do Richard Flores. Let me pop it up on the screen and then play a little sound. Richie says, $4.99 super chat. Not to say having Max not in the lineup made the difference, but I know without him we're not as good. We can't depend on others to help. Yeah, Dodgers definitely are a better team with Max Muncy in the lineup, and I really do think they know that too, and they knew that coming into today. And sometimes you got to do things for the long term rather than the short term.
Dave did say, or coming into the series, that Max was going to get 2 games on and then a game off.
Yeah. So that was the plan, and I, in general, almost all the time, I'm in favor of not deviating your plan just because somebody had a good game. And so, and just like I saw somebody else in the chat earlier saying that Shohei should have pitched the 5th inning. The plan was 4 innings. You know, he was great for 4 innings, and you do the plan. And right now they are still in first place. And part of that is because they stick to their plans and, you know, but hopefully they can get better. But on the Justin Dean topic, Francisco Diaz, $4.99 super chat says, could Dean spell the end of 044 on the roster? Definition of a black hole in the lineup and roster. We also have Call now. So can Mike please go away? And you know what? Honestly, one of my thoughts was it's possible that this is Michael Conforto related. I assume though, if they were dropping Conforto, it would be to call up Ryan Ward, because Ryan Ward kind of fits the same role as Conforto. And so the fact that it's Justin Dean is why I lean towards it being Esteury Ruiz, because it's the same kind of role, except unlike Ruiz, Dean can play center field. So yeah, I don't know, but even if it, go ahead.
I don't know if it's a Conforto play. Conforto bats. I mean, this is so shallow, but he bats with his left hand. Dean's a right-handed hitter. So and they already have Alex Call as a right-handed hitter. So you're basically your only left-hander off the bench at this point would be Dalton Rushing or Alex Freeland, of course, depending on who's batting where. But those aren't exactly inspiring. I mean, Alex Freeland's look good. I'm already ready to dub him into the Cooperstown. As soon as he gets a real number, you might see his jersey on my back. But those aren't inspiring bats off the bench, at least left-handed wise. So I don't think it's a Conforto play, or at least I would be surprised if it was.
Yeah, and if it was, it might be more related to Matty Man 5 Dodges super chat here. $5 super chat. Thank you, Matty Man. He says, what are the odds that Dave has had enough of Andy Pages in center, or something about Pages' attitude? Attitude, I don't know, but I do think Andy Pages has been better in center field than expected this year. I think the Dodgers are definitely aware that their best defensive outfield has Andy Pages not in center field, But that would be, again, a chain reaction related to Conforto, because Pages is staying in center field until Michael Conforto isn't on the team anymore, because right now Conforto and Teo are the two corner outfielders. And so if this has anything to do with, but no, the fact is they're not calling up Justin Dean to be the starting center fielder.
Correct. And I honestly don't think, unless Serenowski looked gross, but I do believe if they were looking at defensive replacements, James Outman would still be on this team because he's a good center fielder. He can play good center field defense. And maybe Serenowski was just a prospect they couldn't pass up on, but
Outman was the Brock Stewart trade.
Oh, it's the Brock Stewart trade? Okay.
Yeah.
Unless Brock Stewart was a guy that could...
I don't think I agree with you on this, because Outman has proven that he was never going to hit a baseball at Dodger Stadium ever again as long as he lived.
But we don't know if Justin Dean's going to hit a baseball at Dodger Stadium either, and we know at least James Outman can play defense.
But we know Justin Dean can play defense, and there's a difference between we don't know if Justin Dean can hit, and we know that James Outman can't hit.
Can't hit. That's fair. That's fair.
So and unfortunately, because of the day off tomorrow,
you're not gonna no problem.
Michael Carrillo says he'd rather have them call up James Tibbs from AA. That's definitely recency bias. He did hit 2 home runs today in AA. He's now played a total of 34 games above high A in his life, so he's ready. Not ready for the big leagues quite yet.
According to Artie Moreno, he's ready.
But seriously, D-backs?
Yeah. Yeah, they gave up the lead.
Way to go, D-backs. But my point was, because of the off day tomorrow, we're not going to find out anything probably until Friday morning. This is Casey Porter getting the scoop, so maybe somebody will get a scoop on what the corresponding move is, but the Dodgers won't be announcing anything until Friday late morning, early afternoon, about Justin Dean and what the corresponding move is. So we'll see. This if the D-backs can't come back in the bottom of the 9th inning, this could be the first time in a week or so that the Padres gain ground on the Dodgers, unfortunately. But, maybe the D-backs can come back. The good news is last night, because the D-backs were able to come back and at least force extras, Mason Miller and Robert Suarez both pitched last night. So either a less rested version of one of them is pitching in the 9th inning, or
Jeremiah Estrada.
Estrada pitched last night too.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm not watching the game. I'm just looking at the game cast. So maybe the D-backs can come back and win this game. But
it's over there. It is over there. Yeah. It is over there. See, I'm pointing the right direction. It's just you're wrong. I'm right. My screen is over there, and I'm pointing at my screen. You're just wrong. And
here's what I do. I just know on my screen you're on my right, and everything's reversed, so I have to point to my left. See? It's easy. But anyway, Alex says I jinxed this game because I mentioned the Padres. Sorry about that. If jinxes exist,
they're a good team. They're fun to watch. I mean, if you disagree, you don't know.
I'm not sure. Michael says the lead in the division is now, I can't tell if that's 1.5
or 15.
Either way, it's not 15 and it's not 1.5.
1.5.
It will be 2 if the Padres hold on and win this game. It'll remain at 3 if the D-backs come back and win it. But either way, you know what?
That's going to set up.
I don't like the D-backs' chances. That's where I'm at too.
It's going to set up a great matchup for the teams next week, I believe, where we will be having a watch along. So if you are a Discord member, if you are a member or a YouTube member, get in the Discord and come watch the game along with us.
Right at this moment, though, we will tell you a little bit about FanDuel, because right at this moment, before the Padres have finished winning or losing this game, the Dodgers are currently at -900 to win the division still. Padres at +550. So Dodgers still overwhelming favorites to win the division. They're definitely even not just on FanDuel, but also on Fangraphs, where they actually run simulations. Dodgers are way overwhelming favorites to make the postseason, and they're still strong favorites to win the division. Not quite as strong here, but still the mid 80% somethings. So They're going to have to play better, though. That's the bottom line. Dodgers are going to have to play like the Dodgers can, because if they, I agree with all the negative Nellies that if they continue to play the way they played today, they won't win the division. The good news is they are better than they played today.
See, and that's where I'm not as negative, is because I actually liked the way they played today. I think you had Alex Freeland make a misplay at third base, and he hasn't played a lot of Major League ball before, so yeah, he's liable to make a mistake. Relief pitchers are relief pitchers. They're volatile at best. I actually liked the way the Dodgers played today. I thought they played a pretty good brand of baseball. It's just, man, baseball happened today. Like Shohei Ohtani pitches a gem and just doesn't get rewarded for it, unfortunately. Alex Vesia doesn't have his fastball today. That doesn't happen very often. He's still probably, at least he's definitely ERA-wise the best relief pitcher the Dodgers have. And stuff happens. I don't know. I'm actually kind of excited for the brand of baseball they're playing, because they're stringing runs together. Starting pitching looks really good. Justin Robleski looks really good for the most part. I don't know. I'm excited. I definitely think the light is at the end of the tunnel, to be a little bit optimistic.
Yeah, well, and yeah, I think they're better. I didn't like the way they played today overall. I agree there were some bright spots for sure. But, to lose a game with that many bright spots is frustrating in its own right. But in the end, they do need to play better. I believe they will play better. And maybe that's because I'm too optimistic. But also, I think in general, the track record backs me up. So, I've seen so many people saying I saw it in the chat just now, they're going to be out of first place by the end of the weekend. It's been 3 months now that people have been saying the Dodgers are going to be out of first by X date. And it's, it hasn't happened yet. Doesn't mean it won't, but it hasn't yet. So,
I mean, the Dodgers are playing Toronto. Padres have to play the Red Sox. Red Sox are hot. They're going to get Garrett Crochet and, I don't know, Tanner Houck's on the IL. I don't know who the other pitchers are going to be, but they're going to get a pretty red-hot Red Sox team right now. And with a freshly minted Roman Anthony, might I add. That man got himself a bag. Good for him. Congratulations to the youngster. But, yeah, it's going to be a weekend for both teams. This isn't a walk in the park. Red Sox hungry. Toronto doesn't want to lose the lead in the AL East. It's a good weekend for baseball people.
I'm sorry, I'm just watching this game cast to see what Luis Ariz just did.
1-2, fouled the ball off to left field. Yep. 1-2, men on the corners. 1 out for anybody who's interested. I don't know who the pitcher on the mound is. Something Kelly. Casey Kelly.
Okay, wild pitch at least didn't score the guy from third, only moved the other runner up. But, yeah. Jeff, can you tell me when this team went 3-0? I don't know what that question means, Michael. So, no, I guess I can't. But with more information, perhaps I could.
Let's see. Hold on.
But
they do a fun. Let's see, schedule results.
Anyway,
I mean, they do a fun little don't they do a largest streak? Situation.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, nobody's arguing that the Dodgers aren't playing poorly the last month or so. My argument is, I think they're probably going to play better because they're a better team than that. So, I think with that, I think I don't think we need to stick around and watch they got Ariz out without a run scoring or got an out. So
yeah, he bunted it and they got the run out at first or at home. Sorry, not at first.
Well, good for them. But, I'm not going to keep doing this show just so we can root for the D-backs because, who wants to root for the D-backs? I hope they win, but I'm not going to actively root for them. But, in the end...
I'm doing a quick scroll really fast. I am counting 5 times the Dodgers have gone on a 3-win streak.
3-game winning streak this year? All right.
Times.
So
some of those were more than 5. Some of those were more than 3. Some of those were exactly 3. But yeah.
Well, good for them. All right, that's going to do it for us. Clint, as you know, is on vacation. He'll be back, after the weekend. I think we will be doing.
We're going to be around.
Yeah. And by the way,
if you hate us, oh man, bear with us for the next few days because you see nothing but our ugly mugs.
And sorry about no voicemails tonight. Unfortunately, as I mentioned last night, they go to Clint's email, and it's hard to. We weren't able to figure out a way to get that with Clint being away from technology, and so that probably means there won't be voicemails on Saturday too. But next week we'll be back in voicemail mode. So check that out. All in all, be sure to join our Discord server. You can do that by going to, let's see, patreon.com/realfrg. $5 a month gets you access to the Discord server. It's a lot of fun talking Dodgers over there, even when it is doomy on a bad day like this. Still fun talking Dodgers with other Dodger fans. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, like, all those things. If you're watching this on YouTube later, throw a comment in the comment section. The live chat is fun. We're currently at 473 comments in the live chat, 475. I'm not going to keep counting, don't worry. But comments on YouTube live forever, so we can continue the conversation there. Thanks for the super chats, the 5 of you who gave us super chats. We appreciate that. And we love talking Dodgers with you. We will be back to do it tomorrow, probably. We're still working out the schedule, but chances are tomorrow, and then maybe even post-game Friday. And you know what? We'll have plenty of Dodgers talk for you, especially this exciting Justin Dean news. Eventually, we'll find out the corresponding move for that. So that'll do it for us. I am Jeff Snider. That is Kevin Skinner. The guy who's not here is Clint Pasillas. We are part of the Bleav Network podcast, brought to you by FanDuel. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.